Good evening, everyone. This is so exciting of what we're doing on Thursday nights. As I mentioned, this is Joanne Nistico, and I am in Warrenton, Virginia. Every Thursday night, we will be hosting a different event. Tonight is Skill Up Thursdays, and we're going to be talking about finding people, connecting with people. So it's going to be a very exciting evening for all of us. And we are looking at collaborating with Carolyn Whiteman, Presidential Master Coordinator, to continue these Thursday nights for each of our organization, Gen Team, that in order to help them and you skill up and improve your communication with people. So talk about, this is really beautiful to get a really great communication. We are led by some wonderful people in Shaklee.
Joanne, full screen.
All right, I'll start it again.
Can you turn up the volume?
Now we can applaud that. I love it. I don't know how many of you love that.
I think it's
We
great.
had no sound, but it was great.
You had no sound?
No, we could see you bouncing and hopping along.
Oh, let me try it again. Why didn't the sound go up, Scott?
Did.
On the right-hand side of the little bar across the bottom of the picture, there's a volume button. There you go.
All right, I'm going to play it again.
Yep,
No,
no
that's-
sound.
No.
No sound.
And I think when you screen share, before you do it, there's a little link, maybe lower left, that says include the audio.
Okay, can you
Uh,
see?
Try it again.
Maybe if you flash off, Joanne, and go back to the screen before you screen share, I think there's a thing down lower left that says include the audio. And I could be wrong, but I think that's,
Well, the other thing is the sound is off at the end of the bar. You have to click on
Well, that's what I did click that on.
Try all the way to the left. No, all the way to the left. There. See what happens.
No, let me try this now. See, this is where,
Right there, Joanne, at the very
There.
right. Yep, that guy. Grab the little button and slide her up. There we go. Good.
now let's see if it went down. Can you hear it now?
Yep.
No.
No. Went off.
No.
That's okay. That's a pretty powerful presentation in silent mode.
Mm-hmm.
And this is on Shaklee TV.
Yeah, it's 53 seconds. I just learned about it today. It's really upbeat and fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a great presentation. I'm sorry the music isn't playing. I'm glad I checked it. I'll have to work that out because we will be using it and I want to make sure that we can share it. So, oops, stop.
If I can jump in, if you back up a screen, Joanne, back up one screen,
Okay, back up one screen.
back up another screen.
Mhm. That's it. That's the beginning.
Okay. I was thinking maybe it wasn't in share mode. That's all right. That little clip will also have a link on the gen.opastuff.org archive.
Okay, all right. And I can hear it beautifully. So I don't know what the
You need to
problem is.
make the choice before you start sharing the presentation, because it's on the screen for starting to share.
Mhm.
I'm
And you
sorry.
haven't gone back far enough yet. You haven't unshared. You have to unshare and then start sharing again. But on the thing that lets you share and lets you choose what to share, there's also a thing that allows
All
you
right. You know, David, what we'll do is we'll go forward right now because you've seen it. It's a great clip. It's 52 seconds. It has some very vibrant. How many of you have seen it? Raise your hands. I sent it in my email, so you have it there and you can watch it and hear it for yourself. But it's a great intro. And we were talking today, I think there's two really wonderful intros now that we can use for new people. One is that particular clip, and the other one is the 15-minute Roger clip. So we really, a part of the Thursday nights and what we're doing to produce these Thursday night segments. And right now we have, you know, our stalwart teams here. There is no one really new on the call. So it's nice that, you know, when we have these glitches, I'm not making myself silly in front of a lot of new people. But the important thing is that we're going to be getting a lot of new people. The important thing is that we're going to be sharing our message. It's a time for an abundant future and opening ourselves to possibilities. We know the possibilities that we have and what we've been given in Shaklee. Now it's time to open up the floodgates and invite new people. And I always say, you know, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. Did I say that right? But anyway, I'm confusing myself. I'm getting a little frazzled here. Let's go forward. It does all start with new people. And we talk about being in harmony with nature and good health. Building an organization is very much like building a garden, planting a garden. And when we plant the seed, we can't expect that the fruit or the vegetable or the flower will show up overnight, but it's very tender right at the beginning. So this whole Thursday night tonight is to give people hope, because a lot of people need hope right now, to be of service to others, to care about the seeds that we plant. And as we go forward, you'll hear some more wonderful topics about how we can do that. We had a lot of wonderful new people coming into our Gen Team organization through all of these wonderful people. You see I sent this out as an email, and I wanted to put the recognition up front because I believe that these people have worked hard to spread the word and message of being in harmony with nature and good health. And as you have planted these seeds, remember that you're being given a gift of these people to enter your business, and they're not just a number. They're not just a statistic that they have joined, you know, wow, I got a new distributor. Wow, I got a new person in my business. What it is it's you have that little tender plant that you have planted, and we'll talk to you about how you can really care for them. But congratulations to all of you who did such a great job in March. Joan, congratulations. 5 was wonderful. Rick and Jeanette, terrific. Mary Kay, all of you on this list. Jennifer, Colleen, Blanca, Pam, Julie Keating, Donna Titus, and Susie Sunkel. Step 1 is finding new people. So Susie, is this your slide here?
It is.
Okay.
It is. And you gave a great introduction. And it's really attracting people. I live a life really founded in Shaklee, in good health, feeling good. It's important when somebody comes in, you know, as they're using the products, the first thing is to build that comprehensive friend list without any kind of judgment, just brainstorm. And as, you know, a sponsor, helping them and supporting them with that, just to put it down, don't even think about it, whoever comes to your mind. And then we'll go over that. And it's an ongoing list. As you think of someone, just put them down and then we'll talk about it. And, you know, is it a good idea to reach out with them? And what's the best way to reach them? How do they respond the best? Through text, through phone? But it's making that friends list. I know if, you know, the gym owner hadn't reached out to me, I don't know where I'd be. I was in such bad physical health. I was extremely cranky 23 hours out of the day. I mean, a totally different person. I don't know where I'd be had she not taken the chance and spoken to me. So I really feel like I'm rude if I don't say something. So we'll make that list and we'll work together. Here are some of the different ways. We know people in so many different areas. A lot of people already have a database of friends, of contacts. Your phone list. Most people have a ton of people on their phone list. Facebook friends, people from high school, from elementary school. I'm connected with so many people online, people with similar interests. And just by putting things out there generally about my life, I attract other people of like mind. And they want to know what I'm doing. I find out about them. And then, people come in and join us because they love the idea of what we do. So it's constantly brainstorming and being there with our new people to help them do that and staying open-minded. Joanne has a great memory jogger. If you go back to that last slide on the bottom, if you write that down, it just helps trigger some areas. I know Jennifer and I do, a lot of meeting people on the tennis court. I've attracted a lot of customers and partners just through what I do with life. When I was younger, it was through the kids. Now it's through the different activities at church and tennis and in school.
And this is very important for those new people that see the future of being a distributor. It's really their first step. Besides their dream of wanting to build a Shaklee business, the first step will certainly be getting them to create a list.
Right, and it's just a door opener. It's just a door open, not a final destination. We're just having a conversation. The first time I talk with someone, I don't ask them if they want to be in the business. I have to learn about them. I have to ask questions, find out if what I have can help fill their needs. And, 6 times make a friend, building that trust with that person. And I also really like the way Joanne opened up, there were, with not getting the sound or whatever. Some people think, oh, I couldn't do that, I have to do everything, and it's not true. We work as a team, and we all support each other. So it's building that trust and building relationships.
Susie, a good example about making a friend, we had a conversation earlier about some people that in your downline organization that you've inherited that you hadn't met before, and we talked about just give them a call and saying, I really want to be of service to you, and I guess you had some good results with those calls.
I had some great results. It was really good to reach out with them. They had some misconceptions.
You don't need to go into details, but
and let them know the things that Shaklee's offering now, some of the great perks that they didn't know anything about.
Great. Well, it's so often we hold ourselves back when people really look forward to hearing from someone,
Yes.
and especially now. Okay, Jennifer Cancio really did a wonderful gift for us all by sharing this on our Facebook group, the Rising Road. So I asked her to contribute tonight to share some creative ways to connect with people. So Jennifer?
Yeah, thank you. I came across this article and it was very helpful for me because I tend to be very within myself, and I saw this, I'm like, oh, these, questions are very powerful. Questions are ways to strengthen relationships. And I found in the past, just asking a rote question, how are you doing? They'll say fine. And, oh, okay, I guess they're fine. That's it. That's the end, right? In this article, I want to read something word for word that I didn't put up here. When we keep asking the same question or no questions at all, we lose out on a chance for a deeper connection with our conversation partners, who also happen to be people we care about. We are tricked into believing we know that they're feeling fine. We're tricked into believing we know what they're thinking when we haven't even really scratched the surface. So especially with this last month of social distancing, we've got to get a little creative with our questions. And the questions are just to connect. And like Susie says, it takes 6 times to make a friend. So these are questions we're asking to see, how are we similar? How are we different? How do I get to know them? And Shaklee doesn't really have to enter into the first few conversations. And the power of our questions show that we're interested, competent, likable, that we care, because we all do care. We're doing this business because we care. And establishing a connection through questions, it's more than just the questions. It's about listening after you ask the question and staying engaged. You can go to the next slide. So from this article, I wrote some of their questions and I added mine. So I posed to all of you, what kind of questions do these questions inspire you to upgrade when you connect with your customers? And I'll tell you a little story that happened today when I was putting this into practice. So here are some of the questions we can ask in the age of social distancing. How are you taking care of yourself today? What habit have you started, or what habits have you broken during this quarantine? You can read through these. What is something you own that feels very useful right now? What time of the day is the easiest for you or the hardest for you? Why? What is the first thing you will do once social distancing has ended? What is giving you hope? Let's see, what's another one I like here? What do you want the events of the last month to change for you? How do you think it will change? If you could change, and I like this last one, if you could change something in your life, what would it be? I think we've all had a lot of people have had a lot of time to think about what they want to change and what they want to see different. And I think this last question is very powerful when connecting with people. And I'm someone that often has a hard time finding my words. So this article really spoke to me. And the funny thing is not funny, but I was connecting with prospective clients. Someone was interested in the Prove It Challenge. And before calling her, I wrote down the questions I want to ask her. She's someone I know. She's one of my Pilates students. And I had a list of questions. And like Joanne says, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. Well, she was the right person because I didn't even get to ask my questions today. So she just talked and talked. And then from there, I just asked her questions just to get to know her. The other part of questions that I learned when I was doing my health coaching is try to keep them positive. Instead of saying, how are you doing? Something like, what's new and good happening in your life, and try to phrase it in the positive, because we don't want these questions to turn into just a dump of the negative. We want to keep it as positive possible to keep the person we're talking to in a positive frame of mind, because positive is health, negative is not health. So I thought this article was wonderful. I posted it on the Rising Road, so you can download it from there, or you can just contact me and I'll send you the link to this.
Actually, Jennifer, we're going to put it on the file. I'll have you send it to Scott.
Okay.
And he'll file it so people can, if they want it, can get it. I love all these questions. It's good to have in your repertoire. I loved your last question. What's good and new happening in your life right now? Here's a kind of a thing that we can all do that help each other. What are some of the questions that you ask others that we don't have on this list? Let's develop a whole repertoire of questions. That one I really related to that came from you. So if others of you have some good questions, email me and we'll compile a good list so that you can have them, and we'll help educate other people on how to ask good questions.
That would be great.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
So we have Pam here, who's going to Pam made some good comments on these slides when we were looking at them earlier. Pam, do you have anything to add to this?
I would just say this. Here's a favorite question. I'll tell you one that works for me a lot that I love. And that question is, hey, Carolyn, how are you doing? What's keeping you busy this week?
That's good.
That's a good question. That's a great question, Pam.
So that's one that I love, because it's not just how are you. I mean, you could start with how are you and how are you doing, but what's keeping you busy this week? It gets people kind of sharing a little bit about what's current in their life. I love that question. The other thing that when I saw this article, and thank you, Jennifer, for posting it, and I read the entire article from Quartz,
Oh, you're welcome.
and I found it so interesting because what these questions call us to do is to listen harder. When you ask a rote question, you kind of, I'll speak for myself, I can kind of tune out. How are you doing? Fine. Fine, but what does that mean when someone says fine? Do you go further to find out what fine means to them? But if you're asking questions that are deeper than that, that are more interesting, you're called to listen at a much higher level. And listening is just so much a part of what we do to be good communicators and good transfer of energy in this business. So listening, I think, is at the top of the list. The other thing I wanted to say along with this is that you will hear stories start to be told if you're asking right questions and having the ability to share a story and to tell a story and to coach someone along so that they can in turn tell their story is so much a part of the question and answering dialogue that goes along. The other thing I just wanted to say, if you've ever been at a dinner party and you've sat next to somebody who doesn't ask you anything about yourself, that only talks about themselves or talks about, you know, a topic that they feel they're expert on, how does it make you feel? And if you think back to a dinner party where you've sat, maybe it's a special event, maybe it's a family gathering, maybe it's a wedding, where you're seated next to someone who you don't know very well. And that person starts to ask you a lot of questions that gets you talking, that gets you revealing some things about yourself. And you in turn, you know, ask some questions in return. It becomes such an interesting thing that happens to you. So if you think about your business and going about talking to new people, go about asking good questions. Don't think so much about, I call it listening with your answer running. Some of us early on in our business, we're so eager to talk about Shaklee or whatever it is we're so excited about, that the answer is running or our statement is running in the back of our heads all the time that we're engaging in conversation. But if you just let that go and really listen, it becomes so much more fun, I think. Yeah.
I love it. It's interesting. It's amazing the things that you can hear from someone when you ask a lot of questions. People want to share their information. Thank you both. That was great.
Yeah. So keep it simple, listen, be joyful, be of service. Roger Barnett, I think in his message recently that Joanne referred to, talks so much about being of service. And we're in an industry that we can serve not just with our products, you know, but with our business in an entire digital manner right now, working from home. We have so much to be of service, especially right now.
And we can give hope, and we are grateful for sure. Okay, why a process right now, Carolyn Whiteman, Presidential Master Coordinator?
You know, when we think about listening to other people and looking at where they are, it's very valuable for us to realize that probably 80% of the people in the country are basically geared to being employees. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this relates to having a process, because if we listen to the news, it's, you know, we need unemployment benefits. We need things that people are looking to go back to a job. And what we think about is what a job is someone is paid for the time that they put in for showing up somewhere and then being told what to do. And their performance is based on, and their income and everything are based on by how well they do what they're being told to do. What's relevant about that for us is that we represent maybe the other 20% or whatever percentage it is that are not thinking as employees, but we're thinking as entrepreneurs. But what's important for us is to realize everybody else is waiting to be told what to do. They look at this wonderful opening of us saying, gosh, you can create your own business, you can have all these wonderful benefits. And honestly, the scariest thing that happens to them is going, what am I do now? What do I do now? And generally what happens is they'll end up going, you know, I want to read a manual, I want to go online, I want to look and see. But what they're really looking for is some guidance and some suggestions on what to do. And that's why I think the process is so important for us now. It probably always is, but one of the first steps that I'm so reminded now that we do with someone who is perhaps a new customer or perhaps a new distributor, the very first thing we want to do is say, please, let's sit down and have an appointment. Let's find out what your objectives are. Let's find out what your, if it's a business person, what is their goal? What are they trying to accomplish? Because until we know that, we can't really set up a pathway for them. When we do, we have a much better ability to say, let's lay out 90 days for you. Let's lay out what do you want to accomplish, and let's make a pathway, because they are thinking like someone who needs to be told what to do, and it's our job to have that pathway. So I think that pathway is so important, not only because it makes us feel better and it makes them feel better, but it is the only way that we can create an effective system that duplicates, that other people can follow. Because if we're great with our instincts, that's wonderful, but it's not copyable. So having some kind of a guideline is really what the pathway is about. And then, is this one mine too?
Go ahead. Yep.
So what we look at is, we like to talk about ourselves as having a career with a conscience, and that is really serving others. And it's based on the wonderful heritage, what Dr. Shackley really gave to us with the philosophy, is being not only the original wellness company, but as being someone who talked about, it's our thinking, being in harmony with nature. Take the dollar signs out of your eyes and go and be of service to other people. But that's what our career with a conscience is based on. And so when we take our 60+ year history, I had a conversation yesterday with someone who was really looking at, gee, maybe I should start a business. And they had another company that was kind of in mind. And the other, guess what? My golden retriever is speaking. It's like we do business from home, and you know, you get your kids and your dogs. But the conversation with him was that I wanted to start a business. Hold it, Eddie. Could you come get him, honey? Business at home. What can we say?
That's all right.
The conversation with this gentleman was, he was talking about creating a business. And I said, you know, I would love to have you. It would be perfect. It would be wonderful if you chose to be in the business that I'm in. But can I suggest a couple of things that you want to ask? First of all, you want to look at the company that you go with and find out if it's really going to be in business for as long as you choose to be paid. So take a look at what is the heritage and what is the likely future of that company, because no matter how good it is today, if they're not going to be around to pay you as long as you think you want to make money from them, that may not be a great investment of your time. And the other thing that I suggested that they look at is find out who's going to mentor you. What is the pathway? What is the process that people suggest, and who's going to mentor you? Because the last thing you want to do is start a brand new venture and being told, go get on the website and follow something on the website. You want a real live human person to be able to guide you, coach you, support you, fine tune what you do. Jennifer's a Pilates instructor. You want someone who says, no, you need to, there's a slight rotation that will make a big difference in how you get the effectiveness of this particular exercise. And so that's a part of the process. And that's a part of what we want to represent for those people who come to be a part of our team.
And of course, you know, we have such a great legacy with Roger and a vision of the future. He's coming up with so many, look, I mean, we're really so excited about what he's bringing forward. And you want someone also that can handle the pressure, you know, and can back it up. You know, we are being led so beautifully. And in a master call the other day, they were saying how, you know, Roger just is really going to bat for us. I mean, he's talking, some of the things that we heard were just so marvelous. And I'm sharing some in the emails. It's just a fraction of it. I'm leaving them out, and I have some more that I'll share with you in some other emails. So stay tuned with that, because you should hear what the masters are hearing, because we're hearing some outstanding stuff.
Well, and I can also say it's kind of nice to have a billionaire who is dealing with the resources, trying to find the resources to put into the products, who can see what's needed and who has the resources to make it happen. That's a pretty nice partnership for us to all have, particularly in these challenging and changing times.
Yeah, we're very well suited. And for new people coming in, it's a 1, 2, 3. And I was talking to Carolyn in our brainstorming about what we wanted to share, you know, and I was saying 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You know, 1, 2, 3. It's a very simple process, and you don't want to overwhelm people. So new people, you give them the heritage, the history. I have the Dr. Shackley story that I love to share with everyone. Lauren, remind me to send it to you, because I haven't done that yet. And Lauren basically is an assistant of mine to help me, but I've asked her to explore what we do and how we do it, so that she's aware in helping me give information out. One thing that I found when I started, I needed a product that I believed in, and that was what I fell in love with, and that is the first step for new people. And I think Carolyn's going to also share this, but if they're not raving fans of the product, really the business building and faster growth isn't going to happen. So they could be just nice consumers, but they start with products, and you'll build your new people that want to be distributors. You know, they'll build a consumer business, and as we stated, their first step is to have you as a mentor, develop their dream, and to give you a list of 20 that you can figure out how you will help approach those people to help them gain their first product consumers. And then the third step is, if business is faster growth, sharing the big picture, which I love. And when I realized that my business quadrupled in 1 year, because I was leading with the business and looking for business partners. So those are important elements to remember. When Carolyn approached me about the, and I don't have the slide numbers, so if anyone wants to jump in, let me know. But when we were talking, Carolyn and I were talking, and she said, I'm starting this new thing called Partnership, PWN Partners, Partnership with Nature. And my biggest challenge was to give a process to people that was current today. I know we have the Shackley website, and I know we have all those tools, and I know we have the Shackley University. The way my brain works is I want everything in one place and easily accessible, so I don't have to search for it. So when Carolyn showed me this, I said, great, I can find things much easier on this, and I can lead people to it. I can also get people to be in an earn and learn program where if they go through so many units, I can give them a gift, and I'll help educate them without my having to do it and know everything. So that is what I am using. I have a number of you on the team that are talented and can use the tools and get all the material. This works well for me and what I'm doing. And I'm going back to people who would enjoy a refresher that I have in my group and organization. Many of you have registered, and people who want to move from member to active distributor. I want to ease my own complicated mind and have something that's simpler for me to guide people to. And because I know so much that I want to make sure that I don't overwhelm people with giving them too much at first. So the new day, new offer, new people, and how we're doing that with the partnership with nature is if you get invited by me, you can complete the first steps 1 through 4 to become familiar what is available. Now, many of you on this call are leaders. Most of you are leaders in our group. You're going to invite new people who want a refresher or people who want to become a distributor, everyone that you can. I do have people inviting everyone in. The issue that you have to remember is that after inviting them, they will be asked to answer 3 simple questions. I have those 3 simple questions, and I will have it posted in our file on the genopastuff.org. And they're asked to complete units 1 through 4. So go through it yourself so you know what people are going to see before you start inviting someone. And then make sure they know how to answer those 3 questions, because I will not approve them until they do. So Pam, this is you, I believe.
Okay, I think that's okay. So what are our next steps? And I think it's a matter of looking at our lists of people. And I'll just share with you, when I first moved to this town, I established my business in Connecticut. And then after I got married, moved up here outside of Boston, and I didn't know anybody. Dudley went off to work in the morning, and I thought, oh, how am I going to get going with my business? I have a nice base down in Connecticut, and there's no territories in our business, and isn't that a wonderful thing? But I needed to be able to, you know, create a local activity, a local energy with my business. So I needed new people, and we're all at different stages in our business. Some of us have big databases, and you can go back and ask some good questions and revisit with people and renew your relationship. Other of us need lots of new people. Some of us just need a few, but we all need to be able to create some new fresh energy, because Shaklee's putting it out there for us. And if we're in partnership with someone like Roger and someone who's putting things together for the time that we're in right now, I think we're called to step up. So as I became a new member of my community, I joined Welcome Wagon, and Welcome Wagon just became a vehicle for me to be able to reach some new people. And what I did is I created a script, and from 8 to 8:30 every night, I went to a room and closed the door with my phone. And I really didn't want to do it. I can tell you that. I did not want to pick up that phone. I was doing cold calls. But I had a list of names. I paid, I don't know, $2 or $3 a name. I got 28 of them every month. They were all newcomers to my community. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I just started doing it. I picked up the phone. I made cold calls. I said, hi, my name's Pam Budner. I'm new in town. I got your name through Welcome Wagon, and I'm wondering if I could just introduce myself to you and tell you a little bit about what I do. Could I stop by? It was at the time where I could actually physically stop by. And that's how I built my relationships. Most people said yes. What did I give them? A little sample of Basic H. Told them that they could clean everything in their house. I met with them face to face. You know, and I'm thinking now, I just, the other day, on the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, I thought, who is it within my church community that doesn't know about Basic H? Who they did a virtual Sunday service that I tuned into on Earth Day Sunday. And they went around and they had video clips of different families standing in nature, speaking about what they did to support Earth Day, how they lived a life of sustainability. And name after name, I said, I know that person from church. Oh yeah, I know that person. I've never talked to them about Basic H. So what am I called to do? I'm called to open the door to Shaklee through inviting them to sit down with me on a Zoom or maybe in person before too long, and I'll have the opportunity to share a little bit about what I do through asking them questions about their own commitment to sustainability. So that I share that with you because we all have ways that we can connect and reconnect with people. Sometimes it takes courage to do that. It took me a lot of courage. I'm an introvert. I don't like to make cold calls, but it took me courage to do that. So if you can find some new courage and find some new ways and some new thinking to wrap yourself into some new energy, it's a great time now to do this kind of work.
And it really takes us out of ourselves because it's of service to others, and Basic Age and Earth Day is so compatible. It was the first Earth Day product. Now is a special time to also work that muscle in seeing who might want some extra income besides just want some extra product. And just as Pam opened up her reticular activator system to say, who haven't I talked to? Once you ask yourself some questions to open up your mind to people, your list can start expanding to meeting new people. I just moved to a new community, and that too happened for me. And what I did was get involved with all the things that I love to do within my community, and all these new people and new friends came into my life, and it's such a joy. But let's make a list of people that you might think you can help give them hope on income, possibility. I mean, I'll throw this out, but you know, the possibility of people who their job will no longer be existing. You know, that they are sitting there wondering, what am I going to do? That makes me sad. It makes me sad for them to put myself in their place and how they feel. So write down some of those names. It's not so much about you getting a distributor, it's how you can help someone have some hope and give them a benefit that there is an income opportunity. And right now is one of the best times to do that. Carolyn, I'm going to turn this slide over to you because I know you really love and I love the way you explain this.
Well, on this slide, I suggest you only look at the very far right-hand column because that's the only one that's really relevant here. And this is a 12-month incentive that started in January, so we're already well into that. But here's what this is. This is an additional cash incentive that is over and above all of the other parts of the compensation plan, which can include the car or the income or the travel or the creation of another business. This is an additional cash incentive that is one time only, and that's based on the development of a team. It's not just what we do individually, but it's the development of the team. So what if you looked at this and said, gosh, I mean, as the time gets shorter, it's a little more challenging to get the full 20,000. It's not impossible, but what if there were a cash incentive that were available for doing the things that Pam and everyone have so beautifully spoken of, and that is reaching out and connecting with people, offering some solutions for things that we're all concerned about, whether it's our health, whether it's our financial income, whether it's our ability to work from home and have just massively changed expectations. What if there was this additional incentive that was available? And the only way that it works is by developing our concern for other people enough so that we're willing to do the 3 simple steps that a distributor does. And that's number 1, to become a raving fan of the products. And that's our first job, because when we do that, we're in integrity. And then step number 2 is very simple. That's be willing to tell our own story. So if we don't have a story, then we're manufacturing a story. And then that becomes manipulative. And that becomes all the things that we don't want to be. But when we develop our own personal story, then because we're a raving fan, we develop our own personal story. And then what happens is we can tell our story. And when we tell our story, it's genuine, it's authentic, and it is simply sharing with someone both the product results which we've gotten because we're a raving fan, but also why is it that I made the decision to, quote, become a distributor? Well, maybe it was because I was looking for additional income. Maybe it was because I wanted tax benefits. Maybe it's because I realized other people needed this. Whatever my reason was, that becomes my story. And that brings us to step 3, which is be willing to tell your story and ask people if they'd like to take a look. Because who is there that we know that if they had the option of creating this additional incentive, in addition to the fact that if they do this correctly, they will also have developed an income that's probably a minimum of $30,000 a year of an ongoing business. Because in order to get the incentives, you have to get to the place where your income is there. So along with that comes, gosh, I also get my car payment. I also get some trips. I also get other things. And then the real bottom line for all of us is it only works when we provide service to other people of the things that they are looking for, which is better health and other income options. And I'm a firm believer that what people are most looking for right now is something and someone that they can trust. That's the bottom line. And that's our job to be authentic like that. And it's our job to represent the fact that that's what our company has been able to be for us, is that's why people are coming back to us, because they do trust the Shaklee name and the Shaklee brand.
That's so true. And it's amazing. You brought up tax benefits, and we haven't even talked about them yet in these, and we'll be discussing it as we go through on these Thursdays. And for the new people, we have some new people on tonight. So welcome those of you that are new and seeing this for the first time. I remember this quote, when I first saw the earnings opportunity, I realized that all I had to do was duplicate myself. And that I thought, but gee, that's going to be really easy. And it was where I'd rather earn 1% off 100 people's efforts than 100% off my own efforts, from John D. Rockefeller. So the next slide really shows how the master the power of duplication. So this is why we want to talk about helping you building your team, working with a team. Susie mentioned it's so much easier. I mean, if I had to do this all by myself, I wouldn't be here. It wouldn't work. As you can see, there's glitches that happen. There's people to help bail you out, give you the answers. We work, you own your own business, but you don't work alone when we start. But on the far left is, we all have to do 100 volume a month, correct? In order to even go into a bonus category. And this is a master coordinator that shared with us his volume in a day, what could happen in a day. And he purchased 100 PV of products, and his group of consumers that he introduced to help them with Earth Day, or to help them with, they need vitamin D, or they need to lose weight, or they need whatever. And that group that he helped did 454 for that particular time. I think it was the first couple of days of April.
It was one day in April.
Oh, it was one day in April.
And April 1st.
April 1st. Pam shared this with me, and so thank you, Pam. Pam and I go way back. We became friends in 9th grade, so she can tell me off, she can tell me anything. Anyway, then the next circle is what his organization did for that day. That meant that the leaders that he had helped earn the kind of income that they wanted had done that kind of volume in one day. If he'd just been by himself with his consumers, you would see 100 and 454 points. However, because he helped to duplicate himself through other people and help them earn the kind of income they wanted, for that day, he had 22,000. So isn't it much easier? And Mary Loomis used to say, who helps more people? Those that just keep the business and the products to yourself, or those that help other people, help other people, help other people? So that's the concept of the power of duplication. And when I saw this, I said, I am in. This is exciting. To simplify it for some of the new people on, we do have the OPA supplement to the Dream Rewards, and it goes through the kind of the steps that if you like detail and want to know more, we have that available. It also shows you how the duplication and bonus structure works. We have all those answers for you when you want to know how much, if I do this, how much would I earn? If I do that, how much would I earn? That's available. And I'm so proud of us because we are a little over, based upon, after all the glitches that I had in the beginning, we're not too over time. We do like to keep it to the hour, but the upcoming events for the coffee or tea night, which will be on Thursday, is Skilling Up. Next Thursday, May 7th, we're going to do The Fortune is in the Follow-Up. So we'll be pulling out some great information to share with you follow-up. And then the May 14th, we're going to have Possibility Thursday, which will be real stories for health and income. And it'll be the Thursday night Zoom. And for those of you that want to share the information, the recording on tonight might not be that great, but the recording and files are on jen.opastuff.org. So I'm going to open up the lines for everybody that want to make comments, ask questions, just chit chat. We'd love to hear from you. You know, a lot of the masters built their business on the Earn and Learn program and directorships. I built most of my first level leaders purely on the Earn and Learn program because they're not going to get it from me otherwise unless they go to somewhere to get the information, because we can't share enough. Some of us are really good at talking and sharing the product information, and I don't happen to be one of them. So it really helps me to teach people. I know Sue Holdren, you did really well with the Earn and Learn, didn't you? Is that?
That really was one of the things that moved me up to director. Yeah.
Great. Anyone else do Earn and Learn and help their business? Julie, really? I didn't realize. What format did you use then? Was that CDs?
Yeah.
It was.
Yes. Yes, I sent them out with CDs. Colleen and her mom had a whole stack of CDs that we would send out and loan them out. Old school.
Yeah, and why reinvent the world? You know, why reinvent something that works for you? If it worked once, I have a firm saying, if it works for you, you keep doing it. If it doesn't work for you, you stop it. So many people keep doing the same thing and think that it's going to change and it's going to work for them and build them. But if it hasn't, it's not. It's like, what did Einstein say? That's a sign of insanity. So, but yet if you've done something that works, go back to it, especially building high volume. And then you find the people who fall in love with the product and they become your builders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very helpful in me getting in the business. It definitely helped me, and then I used it for other people. So, yeah.
I would definitely think about using the MP4s or whatever you see and start training your group on that, which I know you're doing, and compiling that list.
And I think the PWN thing is going to be very valuable. And I'm sorry, Julie, old school was cassette tapes.
Yeah, really old school. Yes.
Yeah, we used to have tons of cassette tapes.
I really appreciate the PWN partners, all the work that went into it. And I know it is still in its infancy. I like it because when somebody signs up to be a distributor and they want to build a business, there's so much coming at them. And I like that we have a basic structure from which to start. And any one of those units, not just the first 4, but the other ones can be talking points. And whereas certain things are logical for me to explain, I like that we have other units, I can kind of see some loopholes where I needed to learn some things that I didn't quite get, and I know what I need to explain to my up and coming business leaders. So I really like the structure, and I don't look at the back office as much as I do at the PWN partners, because it has a really nice logical flow for me, and I'm really prone to information overload.
One of the teams that is doing a similar program is inviting people to their member orientation, as for us is PWN partners, and asking them what day they would be able to start, and saying that that they have 7 days. And so whatever day it is that they would start, and if they say, no, I can't do it tomorrow, I'm tied up, but I could start on Saturday, then Saturday is their start date. And they can use this questionnaire, which that becomes their start date. And then they have 7 days from then. And what you can then do is say, what if we set up an appointment for next Saturday after you finished it, so we can reconnect? Because that's how I get to honor you with whatever award or gift it is that I will give to you. And then we can review what it is that you saw, which also is questions that may have come up, things that you've learned, maybe set you up for a regular monthly shipment of the products that you know you want, be able to listen to what names may have come up, so that it becomes kind of a closed loop, and it gives someone a timeline and a time sensitivity.
You know what brought that to mind when you said that is, I always had a spreadsheet and a checkoff sheet, and when making master, I had all my names list, and I had, okay, check, they did this, check, they did that, check, I did this. So I didn't, unless I had it written in a format, and Lauren, you and I can talk about some of that structuring of tracking, because it's important, especially as the momentum builds and you can have 10 or 20 people going through it at a time. You want to not have to be trying to hold it in your head, and that you'll know when that person finished and what the next step is for them. And that's all about good planning to execute the strategy that you've put into place. Great ideas. Well, listen, we are now at 9:05. I thank you all for continuing to stay with us. We look forward to having the new people join us. Thanks, everybody.